Hey, what's going on YouTube? Alabama Reloader here. So here we go. We were able to get in a ton of shooting today. I just got done filming my 6mm Creedmoor ladder test results, where I had the accuracy window from 41 to 42 grains on that one of H4350. I just got done filming that video. Now I'm going to update the primer test that I'm doing over for the 223 load that I developed a while back. So kind of get you up to speed. There's a part 1 and part 2 already posted on the channel. So if you if you haven't seen those yet, you might want to go check those out. Just kind of walks you through what we're doing, the primers that we're testing, and all that fun stuff. So just a quick recap. I had developed a load using Hodgdon benchmark. 21.5 grains was a pretty good. It was a consistent performer, really, is what it was. So 21.5 is on the low end of the scale there, in terms of your min to max with the powder. So I don't like pushing it to the max. I like to load closer to the minimum, if possible, if I can find a halfway decent performing charge. 21.5 stood out, was a pretty good performer, so we went with that. And what I'd been using for a while was the Federal Gold Medal Match small rifle primers. So I'd been using those for quite some time, and just wanted to do a primer test, check everything out, see how they performed, see how they stacked up. So that was the main purpose of this test. Hold on 2 seconds. Yeah, that was sort of the main purpose, was just to test. I believe it was 8 different primers, I think is what I had. Yeah, eight different primers, counting the Federal Gold Medal Match, the small rifle, the one that I'd been using. So that's what these results are from. We start here on the left. This is my Federal Gold Medal Match small rifle. That's what I've been using for a while. These are all 5-shot groups. That one, so I'm not real sure about that. Again, I was shooting off. Let's see. I was shooting off these rests. I don't have a shooting rest anymore, so I was shooting off bags. So again, my point of aim, it was the best I could do to try to keep everything as consistent as possible. So on that first group, I still want to load those up with the Federal Gold Medal Match, and try that again with the next 2 primers that I have listed, and then also maybe this one right down here. Maybe throw it in the mix, but I'd like to eliminate 4 of the primers. These are our 4 worst performing primers here. Eliminate those and do maybe a follow-up test, maybe a part 4 or part 5. I can't remember what part I'm on now. Lord knows. So maybe do a follow-up test on that. So that's Federal Gold Medal Match. The group measured 1.24 inches. Let's see. There's a couple of groups that actually measure smaller that I'm kicking out, but because these are so, these are just those 4 shots right there. They're stacked in there. It's that 5th one, whereas these other groups, you don't have 4 that are just stacked in there that tightly and then 1 flyer. So that's why I'm going to follow up with that one and do a little more investigation. The next group, that one measured 0.451 inches, so that's less than half MOA there. That was actually the Federal small rifle primer, so just their standard Federal small rifle, the number 205 primers. Up next, so right here, that group measured 0.507 inches, so right there, half MOA, and that was the CCI Small Rifle number 400. That's what that one was. That's one I had shot those primers quite a bit. I've shot the 400s for a long time, because it was hard to find the small rifle, the Federal Gold Medal Match. It was basically almost impossible to find them at a decent price. without getting killed on hazmat if you ordered them online. I almost couldn't find them anywhere locally. Well, now, I guess everything's catching back up, Trump in office, all that fun stuff. There's just a ton of inventory now. I can find H-4350 in an 8-pound jug now at the local gun shop. I can find the Federal Gold Medal primers all day long now. So, but I was shooting the 400s for a while, so that was a really good performer. Next up, one of the ones that we're going to kick out, that's the CCI, the bench rest number 4. So we're going to kick that one out. That measured 1.168. So again, a little bit better than this one, but again, they're not stacked in there like those other 4 were on this first group. Next up, so we've got the Winchester small rifle primers, so WSRs, 0.591 inch, so just over half MOA. So that one's going to stay in. Next up, the ones that we're going to kick out, this group measured right at an inch, 1.009 inches, so right at MOA. Not too bad, but those were the Remington small rifle primers, the 6.5, so 6.5 primers there. Next up, 1.237 inch group, that is the Remington small rifle 7.5 bench rest primers. So not a huge variation there on performance. And then the last one that we tested, this was the Federal Gold Medal Match AR, the small rifle, the AR primers. So tested those as well. Even though this is not an AR, it's a bolt gun, but still, I wanted to throw a lot of variety in there, just test a lot of different primers. And that one came out to 1.252 inches. So that's the way everything ran down. And this was actually, so update, this was the first time that I've used my chronograph. I bought a Caldwell chronograph. I bought it on Amazon Prime Day. They were running a pretty good sale on it, and I jumped on it. It's the inverted one, the inverted chronograph that they sell. And this was my first experience using one, and I absolutely loved it. I mean, the thing was super easy to set up, very easy to get going and get running. Yeah, so I'll sort of run through. So that was all of the group sizes there for the different primers. Again, all of these are loaded at 21.5 grains of Hodgdon benchmark. So I'll run through the velocity of each one. For the average velocity for the Federal Gold Medal Match, we were at 2,367 feet per second with a standard deviation of 45.4. So that's why on that flyer, that's why I want to load these up again to see what's going on, because I had one shot that was 100 feet per second faster than the second fastest shot, right? So somehow, I don't know if I screwed something up in the way I loaded everything, but one of these out of the 5, which you would kind of venture to guess maybe that one, is 100 feet per second faster than the next shot. So so that threw my standard deviation way off, and possibly the group there. So fun stuff. Next up is the Federal Small Rifle, the 205s. I had one error reading on that, so I only got four of the velocities, but the average was 2366. Standard deviation of 25.7. So let's see. Next up is the CCI, the 400s, the small rifle 400s. So average velocity is 2420. Standard deviation 26.3. So not too bad. The next up, CCI bench rest number 4s. Average velocity 2398. Standard deviation 34.6. Winchester small rifle primers. Average velocity 2422. Standard deviation 37.3. Let's see. Next up is the Remington 6.5s. Average was 2452. Standard deviation 13.3. So that was one of the better performers in terms of just overall velocity, average velocity, and standard deviation. That was the lowest standard deviation that we had out of all of them. Next up is the Remington 7.5, the bench rest. That was 24.44 on the average velocity and a 30 on the standard deviation. And then last but not least was the Federal Gold Medal Match AR at 23.97 for the average and 22.3 on the standard deviation. So the Remington primers, those two there actually gave us the highest average velocity. Let's see, on that we were, yep, so the next closest out of that was the Winchester Small Rifle. It was 24.22, but these were easily much higher than the Federal. So there you go. So that was it. That was our primer test. 8 different primers. Now we're going to cut it down to 4. We'll do another round. Yeah, we're shooting the Barnes match burner, the 69 grain match burner. So I really like that round for the 223. I'm also doing a lot of work with the 55 grain soft point SX from Hornady. I'm actually about to film another video showing that. So I did a ladder test for that today as well. So a lot of good stuff going on for the channel. A lot of good shooting today. But yeah, so there we go. Looks like we've got 4 primers that we want to explore just a little bit further. Maybe get some more velocity data on just to confirm what we did. Also, I would like to know the difference between maybe the temperature. These rounds actually sat in my vehicle overnight prior to me shooting them, and I think it got down into the low 40s. Yeah, somewhere in that range. I mean, it was kind of maybe upper 30s, somewhere in that range last night. And then when I was shooting today, I believe it was about 58 degrees. I wasn't in the sun, I was in the shade, so the rounds were on the colder side. So yeah, maybe I'd like to load these up, these four primers that we picked that were kind of the winners, so to speak, out of this round. Load them up again, 21.5 grains of benchmark, and then keep them at room temperature, which in my house averages about 65, 68 degrees, somewhere in that range, and take them straight out to the range and shoot and see if we notice any difference. So I don't know. That's something to think about. So all right, that's it. Here's the primer test results. So we've narrowed the count from 8 down to 4. More load development coming, so I'll load up more rounds with the 4 that we chose. So that's it. I appreciate you guys checking out the videos, and stay tuned for another primer test video. We'll run it with the 4 that we picked and go from there. Appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.